You're not feeling good? Are you feeling bad? Hmm? You all right? Hi, baby. How you doing? You're so sweet, bye. Hello, BookTube, and welcome to your Daily Penguin. This is our tour through my Penguin Classic wall. Never know what we're going to encounter. We've encountered some great books in the last week or so, and some not so great books, and some books that I don't know why I have, and some books that are incomplete. Today we go back to great. This is an author that I absolutely love. I don't have his whole works. I don't have anything even close. And I don't know off the top of my head. I've been wrong. I was wrong about Hannah Arendt. I was wrong about a few people. I don't know off the top of my head, I should just admit, how many of his works Penguin includes in their line. But I have two. This is N.K. Narayan, and these are the Malgudi days. These are the Malgudi novels. This one is The Painter of Signs, and this is Malgudi Days. And these are, this author is beloved. He's a national institution in India. He is a mythologizer of an Indian past that never quite was, and yet these books are not just toothless nostalgia. They have a wonderful kind of human insight into them. Just an amazing, they're amazing reading experiences, especially if you've been to India, but even if you haven't. This author is deeply beloved. Those of you who might be new to the channel won't know that although I have traveled pretty much everywhere, with only one notable exception in the world, I've only lived in about 24 places, and one of them was India. And I lived in one spot in central India, but I traveled all over the country, and I talked to a lot of people about a lot of things, especially the magnificent splendor of Indian literature. And Narayan came up all the time. People just love him. They just love him. He invented this town of Malgudi and populated it with people over the course of a whole writing career. And I don't know how much of that career, look at the shape this is in, good Lord. I've stuffed this in so many bags, read it so many times. And what is this bookmark? Munro's Books, on 1108 Government Street in Victoria, British Columbia. Munro's Books. Is Munro's Books still there? Anybody is in British Columbia? Is Munro's Books still there? Still in operation? Okay, well, in this next one, in The Painter of Signs, we have another bookmark. This is the Toadstool Bookshop, number 3 Main Street in Peterborough, New Hampshire. Anybody from Peterborough, New Hampshire, can you testify as to whether or not the Toadstool Bookshop is still there? There could be, as far as I know, more of Narayan that's in the Penguin Classic lineup than just these two. These are, I'm ashamed to say, the only two of his books that I have. And what I want is something that I don't think exists. I don't think I've ever seen it. We've seen those big, fat, 1,000-page ornate Penguin Classic Deluxe editions with the French flaps and the deckled edges and newly commissioned artwork on the cover. We're going to see more of those. I'm sure we'll have more of those. And what I would love is one of those for this author. Something that just says Malgudi and that has the Vendor of Sweets and the Painter of Signs and Malgudi Days and a whole bunch of other, all of it basically. And maybe you could include other stuff as well, the non-Malgudi books. They're all thin. You could fit a huge amount of Narayan into one of those Penguin Classic Deluxe editions, and what a volume it would be. For all I know, such a volume exists, not in Penguin. I know I would have noticed that if Penguin made one, but there are probably many such volumes like that out there. This is if you have not made this author's acquaintance, your Penguin today is the wholehearted recommendation. He is utterly delightful, and not simple. The standard template of comparison here for a national past that never quite was is P.G. Wodehouse, whose Blandings Castle and Bertie and Wooster novels take place in a sunlit England that is between wars, but that has no shadow of bitterness or rationing or nationalism or fear anywhere in it. I have always thought that characterization of Wodehouse's work is a little bit too simple. He himself stresses very much so the fable-like nature of his writing, but the real world is there, in plenty of places. Not always done for comedy, but you don't get to claim that the Wodehouse novels are completely free of any kind of reflection on the darkness of the outside world, as long as you have Roderick Spode. But another point of comparison that's often made here, oh, it's gone right out of my head. Oh, it's gone right out of my head. There's another point of comparison that's often made with Wodehouse and Narayan and who else? Of an idealized past of a nation. Oh, Don Camillo. Giovanni Guarasci's Don Camillo stories, which are likewise idealized and fabulized in order to seem sweet and all audience friendly. And they are. They very much are. But once again, the real world casts shadows on those stories as well. And the same thing is true with the Malgudi books. They are not as innocent and sweet as a lot of their bitter young critics tend to call them. They are knowing, very knowing. They're just compassionate. That's all. That's what gives them their eternal innocence. I love these books. Absolutely love them. These are perfect examples of penguins that I pull down for this series and then want to spend time with. And these are perfect examples of penguins that tempt me. When I really can't afford to be tempted, I have too much work to do when I'm not making these videos. So your penguin today is a recommend. Get to know this author, definitely. And I will just hold out hope that someday I see that big volume of Malgudi's novels and stories. That would be wonderful. So I'm going to wrap up your penguin for today. Who knows what we'll encounter tomorrow? We'll reconvene then and find out. Thank you, BookTube.